Hi, Matt. Mr. Engaged. Okay, everybody, let's grab our seats. I get the privilege and honor to bring a man that needs no introduction, quintessential Mr. Tom James. This is habit number 7, creating a store environment that is professional and safe and living it out through our values and principles. Are you all ready to have Mr. Caldwell come up and share? Give him a big round of applause.
Thank you, Steve. So we're going to be talking about habit number 7, creating a store environment that is professional and safe, living out our values and principles. And I think some of the best ways that I've learned is seeing examples of what not to do. And so I'm going to play just a quick video clip. I'm actually astonished at how many things in this short clip demonstrate what not to do. So I hope you enjoy it, and it'll help us kick off this session.
I guess the atmosphere that I've created here is that I'm a friend first and a boss second. Probably an entertainer third. Just a second, right? All right, everybody. Oh my God, Pam. Those make you look so ugly. Pam, in order to get hotter, you take glasses off. You're moving in the wrong direction.
I don't have my contacts.
Bad. Melanie, I can't even hear you. It's just noise coming out of an ugly scientist. Everybody, so how are we going to energize our office? I mean, I haven't done anything since Christmas. Pam clearly has just given up trying. Now we're cooking. I like this. Maybe a whole theme, like a rap rhyme.
An urban thing.
An urban, yeah. Stanley, you want to help us out with that? Stanley, Eartha Stanley.
Not me.
Yes, you. Come on, Stanley, put your little game down and join the group.
No.
Stanley, we're having a little
Leave me alone, damn it.
We're having a brainstorm session.
Did I stutter?
So, if you would you walk us through a typical day for you?
Yeah.
Great.
Well, I generally come in at least 15 minutes late. I use the side door. That way Lumberg can't see me. And after that, I just sort of space out for about an hour. Till I'm thirsty.
Space out?
Yeah, I just stare at my desk. But it looks like I'm working. I do that for probably another hour after lunch, too. I'd say in a given week, I probably only do about 15 minutes of real, actual work.
Peter, would you be a good sport and indulge us and just tell us a little more?
Oh, yeah. The thing is, Bob, it's not that I'm lazy. It's that I just don't care.
Don't care?
It's a problem of motivation, all right? My only real motivation is not to be hassled. That and the fear of losing my job. But you know, Bob, that'll only make someone work just hard enough not to get fired.
So certainly a lighthearted way of looking at that, but what we see are just small, tiny things that we do in office environments that destroy the environment. And then the outcome is lack of engagement and turnover, right? And so what we're going to talk about today is creating a store environment that's professional, safe, living out our values. And I'm going to get y'all to help me, so I've got some mics. The first thing we're going to go over is just what is a standard. And this is taken from a book called 13 Fatal Errors That Managers Make and How to Avoid Them. It's written by a gentleman named Stephen Brown. But there's an entire chapter that one of these errors is failure to set and maintain standards. And so, Hector, if you wouldn't mind reading that one.
Every company recognizes a bottom line as to what they will tolerate from their partners with respect to any standard. The higher our expectations in this regard, the greater the pride in working with us. Our ability to retain valuable people increases in direct proportion to our expectations. If they cannot have pride in their association with the members of our organization, good people will not derive self-esteem and will not affiliate with us over a long period of time.
That is so packed full of truth. And you think of any high-performing organization in the world, Simon Sinek talks about the Navy SEALs. Is that a high-performing organization? Is it easy to get through buds? It's brutal, right? Do you think that Navy SEALs walk around apologizing for how difficult that is and how high their standard is, or do you think that they wear it like a badge of honor?
Badge of honor.
And what this says is that any organization, the higher the standard, if it's appropriately applied, actually builds esteem in associating with them. And so the higher our standards are, whether it's behavior or habits, all of those things help the people we hire know that I've paired up with, I've associated with an organization that is worthy of what I'm bringing to the table. And so the first thing that we have to get our arms around with is this is actually critical for what we do. Jim, do you mind reading this one?
Properly presented, standards tell partners exactly what caliber people they associate with. Comfort and assurance can result from positively presented standards. They came from a source of pride in the organization just as long as the stated standard matches the real one revealed by leadership decisions.
And that's a tough one. Because what I do speaks so loudly, people can't hear what I say. And people do what people see, not what they hear me say. And so whatever standard we establish, if we walk out of here with our 8 essential elements as just being a thing that we say and not a thing that we do, we'll actually destroy pride and we'll destroy trust. And so Brant, do you mind reading this one?
Standards have the desired effect only when leadership practices what it preaches. We cannot say one thing and do another. Announced standards, not adhered to, become pride destroyers rather than builders.
Beautiful. And so understanding what a standard is helps us just get through the whole rest of this topic. And as it relates to professionalism, we have to have a very high standard because our level of professionalism, it has a ripple effect that touches everything. So we're going to go through that. And the first thing I want to hit on is why professionalism matters. And I'm going to give you just several reasons. And again, Jeff, if you wouldn't mind, drive success. Read that for us, please.
Professionalism creates an environment where work gets done effectively and respectfully. When people consistently act with integrity, reliability, and competence, clients gain trust in the organization, colleagues collaborate more smoothly, reducing conflict and inefficiency. Leaders can focus on strategy instead of managing behavior issues. This reliability and respect directly translate into better outcomes and long-term success.
Okay, and a lot of these just seem self-evident, but it's good to review and it's good to read. But number one, having a professional environment will absolutely drive success. Number two,
leads to growth. Professional behavior sets the tone for continuous improvement and advancement. Professionals are more likely to seek feedback and invest in skill building. Organizations with a strong professional culture attract higher quality talent. Opportunities for new projects, partnerships, and promotions open up when others recognize a person's credibility. In short, professionalism fosters personal, team, and organizational growth.
okay. If you have additional comments on these, feel free to speak up. Increases retention. This is a big one.
A professional environment is also a stable and supportive one. It makes people want to stay. Employees feel respected, valued, and fairly treated. Toxic behaviors like gossip, disrespect, and unreliability are minimized. Predictable, professional interactions reduce stress and improve morale. When people know they're in a respectful, well-run workplace, turnover decreases and loyalty strengthens.
David?
Professionalism helps rising leaders and partners grow faster. They learn to model professionalism from mentors and peers. Clear standards of behavior and communication shorten the learning curve. Professional practices, punctuality, accountability, strategic thinking equip them to take on higher responsibility earlier. This acceleration benefits both the individuals and the organization as capable leaders are ready sooner.
And I'll take this one. Professionalism's, it's who we are. When you read our mission statement, it's what we profess, right? But I want to show y'all sometimes how maybe who I believe I am and who I believe we are doesn't necessarily get recognized by others. And so I'm going to share with you some reviews. These have been redacted and consolidated. But these were some one-star reviews that hit on some things that I think are a reflection of lapses in our professionalism. So cons. They will praise you if you do well, push you to your limit if you don't, and if you're the type who doesn't quit, they will eventually let you go. They act as if they care, when in reality they care about one thing: your hard-earned money, clients, and how to take that from you. There's endless amounts of drama in the office. You will be talked about behind your back. It's sad, really. I watched a lot of bullying take place from upper management. There's very inappropriate behavior that goes on, such as getting drunk and sleeping with multiple coworkers at national meetings. I looked around at my office at the successful people and realized there wasn't one of them that I wanted to be like. They're selfish, narcissistic, and greedy. Once you do establish a book of business, you are essentially forced into hiring, babysitting, a new person right out of college who takes up all your time. Then they quit if you don't quit first. It's a massive rinse and repeat cycle. That's brutal. And that is not my company. Is it yours? And fortunately, it's not been my experience, and it likely hasn't been your experience. But one of the things that I've heard over and over again, if there's even 1% of something that I can accept, then I should accept it all and do something about it. And if someone said something about my wife or my kids or my family or any of you, I would defend you and I would fight for you. They're saying this about my family. In our topic today, we get a choice on how we operate that even if this is just 1% true, let's make sure we quell this 1%. Are y'all with me? Because what Glassdoor says does not equal who we are. And I refuse to let it define who we are. A few reviews do not represent us, but we're going to learn from it, and we're going to take those things today, and we're going to talk through it, and then over time, I want us to incrementally decide that we're going to be a place that even when people leave, because of course they're going to leave, not everybody's going to stay here and find a career like I did. But when they leave, I want them to leave knowing that we're great and we improved their life and we improved whatever they do after us. Wouldn't y'all like the same thing? But based on the reviews, do y'all think store professionalism is something we should work on? I do too. So we're going to talk through some ways to do that. And the first thing that I think matters is ownership. And so I'm going to show you the ownership piece. And it's something that we look at and we review all the time. But part of being an owner is realizing it's not our mission. It's Jason's mission. And it's Jim's mission. And it's Micah's mission. And so I want you to look at our mission statement through new eyes. My mission statement: I am in the people business. I provide opportunity for our people and serve the needs of my customers by creating a product of great value. Commitment to quality underlines all of my actions and plans. My focus is on meeting our customers' increasing demands for convenience and providing world-class service over a long period of time. I am committed to growth, for growth sustains my efforts and ensures my opportunity. I operate with integrity, as it is a cornerstone of my relationships with my customers, vendors, and one another. And so I'd say the first step in us becoming a world-class professional environment is complete ownership, because this is your family. It's my family, and what people say about it matters. And so 100% ownership. And then the second thing I want to really drill into is it's in the details. How many of y'all have heard of broken windows theory. So Malcolm Gladwell wrote a book a while back, and he talked about it in his book called Tipping Point. But broken windows theory is it's a criminology concept, and it proposes that visible signs of crime, such as graffiti, litter, vandalism, they create an urban environment that encourages further, more serious criminal activity. So those are the people who came up with it: James Q. Wilson, George Kelling. And it suggests that addressing minor infractions and maintaining public order can prevent the escalation of larger criminal problems. And the example that Malcolm Gladwell talked about was New York City back in the late 80s, early 90s. And one of the things they did is if it was a city-owned building and a window was broken, they would fix it within 24 hours. If a subway got spray painted with graffiti, they'd pull it off the line, and they wouldn't start using it again until they had repainted the subway. And what it communicated is that someone was in charge and they weren't going to tolerate less than a high standard. And I don't have the numbers, but the crime rate just dropped off a cliff because it demonstrated that we care about the small things. And in our offices, unaddressed small problems create the impression that no one cares. And they escalate into larger problems. And we're going to hit on a lot of different areas. When you think of professionalism, my guess is y'all thought of how somebody acts, and we're going to hit on a lot of different areas of professionalism. And it's the small things that either communicate that you have a high standard, or it's the small things that communicate that some things just don't matter. Lesson here, don't ignore the small things. So 100% ownership, don't ignore small things. So what is professionalism? Number one, it's dress. And this should be an easy one for us. Language, decorum, ethics, customer service. So there's a lot of elements within that, but we're going to focus on these. So on dress, some of these are self-evident, but y'all realize we're in a image-based business, right? And like it or not, people judge us on the way we look. And they form opinions instantly about our level of care for things. And it's crazy because we can easily think of examples. If I go into a restaurant and the cook is wearing a wife beater t-shirt with soiled on the front, I'm instantly going to be not impressed, right? What I expect is him to look like a chef. When I go see my doctor, I prefer it if they look like a doctor. Our appearance should be world-class and elevated to every detail. Groomed, clean, pressed, polished. This is an interesting one. So I've been here 29 years and I have some really cool casual clothes. And I think I can throw down a really great casual look because I've got the colored buttons and the trim inside the collar and down the front. And it's not inexpensive stuff because I earn enough points. I'm getting Oxford. I mean, it's sweet belt, cool shoes. Our new partners can't pull that look off very well. The other thing is if I'm encouraging them to go float and prospect and they don't have a tie on, or they're trying to pull off a casual look and they cross somebody who would be just a perfect prospect, a CEO of a company, they already are lacking confidence because they don't have the skins on the wall that we do. But if they see me in a morning meeting dressed a certain way, no tie, chilling, and they decide, well, Jason does that, I'm going to do that, I've just set them up to maybe miss their best referral source or their best client. Because I remember days where I thought it was just going to be a hangout day and I didn't dress up, and I saw somebody and I didn't float them because I was like, they're dressed better than I am. And so, again, I realize that this will hit each of us differently, but what we do has ripple effects. And so how we dress is part of our professionalism. We ought to look like we're the best. I've floated an employee of downtown Neiman Marcus at least 10 times in my career. So what does that say about their dress culture? They look unbelievable. You have no doubt that they're in the clothing business. Sometimes I'll show up in a different office or my own office in a morning meeting and I'm not sure what we do. And but that's a standard that I'm either elevating or diminishing. Your office, and I've ebbed and flowed on this through the years. My office sometimes has looked like a storage unit, and sometimes it looks like a place where world-class people with high priorities who are going somewhere work. What does your office communicate? Your automobile. If I just spent $2,000 or $5,000 or $10,000 on a suit and it looks like it just got unfolded out of the back of a trash bin, I'm not feeling as confident about the service that I just got. And I'm not saying that we all have to drive fancy cars, but they should look clean and professional and look like I care about what I do. That's a part of professionalism. Language. This is an interesting one, and this is one of the ones that I think is one of those small things that if we don't catch, they grow. The language in our office should be clean and appropriate. And I hear words all the time that I'm like, wow, that's not like us. Kind, affirming, and respectful. Nucci, for my entire career, has admonished me to avoid sarcasm. And he uses something that's very tangible and visible. It's a tearing of flesh. Is your office one that tears flesh, or is it one that people feel enlarged by? Topics that bring people together. I can't believe the number of times people talk about their personal things, whether it be politics. I'm not ashamed of my personal beliefs at all. But I want to talk about things that bring people together. Topics that are focused on keeping the wants and needs of those we get to serve, number one. Are we talking about things that remind us that the only reason we're in business, the only reason I can feed my family, the only reason I can drive the car I drive is because we have clients who trust us? Are our conversations steering us in that direction? Is that what your office is about? Topics that are focused on where we're going, what we're building, how we all fit in, and how we're going to get there. Those are professional topics. Does that mean that we have to be stiff and not fun? Of course not. But this is what I want to associate with. Decorum. Decorum is just how we operate. So polite, respectful, showing good manners, arriving on time, dressing appropriately, respecting one another's boundaries, listening actively. Transparently, I mess this up sometimes. My mind's going a mile a minute. Yesterday, Jeff and I were talking, and in my view was the coffee machine. And it was after lunch. And again, we were talking about, it was important stuff. And finally I said, Jeff, please forgive me. Can I get you a cup of coffee? Because I really want one, and I'm so distracted by that. So I fail in that all the time, guys. But it's a part of being professional. Responding promptly. This is a small one. But if I do this, who am I giving permission to do this? Everybody. But it shows respect. And transparently, sometimes when I'm on a Zoom call, I'm doing 1,000 other things. Is that professional? Say no. No. Because if I was sitting in a meeting, I wouldn't be doing that. So video on, focused on the task at hand. Sharing credit, keeping promises. Ethics. Integrity, honesty, accountability, fairness and equality, dependability. Being for what is right rather than trying to be right. Open communication. And then finally, customer service. Serving versus selling. I think we do a good job of that. Under-promising, over-delivering. Keeping our commitments. Personally delivering versus shipping. How I handle and present garments. And I'm sure y'all have done this. Big order. Schlep it in. You got it kind of wadded up in your arms and you throw it on the table. Anybody ever done that? I have. Or even my swatches. He's looking at $400 shirt swatches. Hey, you have a stripe in there? Yeah. And I spin it across the table to him. Did that convey value? Not at all. But if I customer service, because I'm going to ask him to invest in a quality product, am I demonstrating its value by how I treat it? Addressing concerns, handling eventualities head on. This is one that I get to get involved in all the time. When a salesperson has conflict with their client, and all of a sudden their phone doesn't work, I guess, because they disappear and they don't return calls of the mad client. That's not world class, and that's not who we are. And then remember this on professionalism. We tend to evaluate ourselves based on our intent. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. I didn't mean to be late. Like, what's the big deal, Jack? I didn't mean to. So that's how I judge me. We tend to respond to others based on their impact. And as it relates to professionalism, we should all evaluate ourselves based on our impact. If you leave this session today and you get a negative, you receive negatively from me, it's on me. It won't have been my intent, but if it's my impact, I'm the one that has to deal with that. And that's how we should judge ourselves. So here's the rubric that when we go into our breakouts, we're going to be working through. And I'm going to start with a couple of quotes because part of the reason that I get to speak to you is because there's an impression that my reputation is that I act pretty professionally. When I show you my review, what you'll see is my impact is not necessarily what you might think of me. And so I need to be extraordinarily authentic with what my results are in my backyard. Otherwise, I can't deal with it. If I go to the doctor and I get misdiagnosed, am I going to get the right prescription? If I go to the fair and I look in a fun mirror that shows me something that's not an accurate reflection, am I going to make proper adjustments based on that? And so we need to face reality as it is. And so I'm asking you, when you go to your sessions, don't put your rating on what you think you are or what you want to be. Put it on, where's my office now? Face reality as it is, not as it was or as you wish it to be. We can avoid reality, but we cannot avoid the consequences of avoiding reality. The first step towards change is awareness. The second step is acceptance. And then these quotes that Todd has shared with us. In a growth mindset, these challenges are exciting. So when we start rating ourselves, it's okay. They're exciting because now I have a chance to grow. Whatever we focus on improves, and so I know if I'm honest, I have a chance. And then finally, I can go back towards safety or I can go forward toward growth, but it must be chosen again and again. So let's get into the rating. So on the top, frequency. The spectrum on this rubric is from no standards to the highest standards. Where we are in Dallas, I would rate us at a 2 right now. I think we hit the mark. Standards and values and topics related to professionalism come up occasionally. Standards are implied or assumed, intentionally identified and promoted. Confrontation and or communication about issues is avoided. Reason I'm not a number 3, I don't intentionally discuss standards. I haven't made it part of my plan to remind all the time. So I live by them. I look at them. They're a part of my affirmations. I don't have it worked into my schedule on a monthly basis. They're not visible throughout the office. On the second one, store professionalism, the spectrum goes from everybody for themselves up through the highest levels of ownership. I think we're a 3. Store leader feels like they're promoting a standard, but there has not yet been a transference of ownership to anyone else in the store. And I wouldn't say not to anyone else. I think there's a couple, but it's not universal. Various leaders still deal with issues differently. So not a 4 yet. On purpose. One purpose is everybody just does what they want, personal freedom. I want to, let's get along. all the way up through the highest collective vision of possibilities, where I would put us is a 3. I feel like there's compliance and action that comes from upline leadership. And then on effects and signs, it's from a spectrum of extreme toxicity to a culture that multiplies. I think where we are is a 3. The store leader ensures consistency and professional standards. These are applied when situations arise. Issues do make it to the store leader, but typically through hearsay. There isn't much culture going straight to the person. The store leader's consistency on professionalism provides a basic sense of fairness and justice that allows silos and cliques to expand as trust in the store expands. Standards are starting to be referenced aspirationally rather than policies and rules. But we don't have individual affirmations and goals that reflect the desire to grow into the picture of professionalism. Retention levels are high. Or I'm sorry, they're not high. So I can't check off 4. But what gives me hope is now I know exactly where we are. And we can work on that. And so we're going to end with just a little bit of humor, just to amplify again what we're going to do in our session when we break. So we're going to head to our breakouts, and I can't say enough positive things about the 3 men who get to lead these sessions alongside of me. Ryan Hamlet and Bill Yonke out of Atlanta, Jeff Mitchell out of Houston. These are great men, great leaders, and what I love about all of them is they've all been in environments that have had challenges, and they've navigated them, and they've been in environments where they're doing really, really well. And so what you're going to get is authentic discussion. And so I'm excited for what we're going to do in the next session. And I would just ask that, again, you rate yourselves as fairly as you possibly can. And let's make sure that where we go from here is an environment that is just world-class, professional, and more like who we are. Thank you all.